This timeline is crazy, man.
I know. So many things coming at one time.
Not do this alone. Do you foresee that there could be other charges related to this case?
I'm not taking anything off the table.
No one wants to be mentioned.
Greetings, everyone. Brace yourselves for an intense journey. Imagine this, a gripping courtroom drama with tears flowing and emotions soaring. At the heart of it all are the daughters of music mogul Sean Diddy Combs, D'Lila, Chance, and Jessie. Reports suggest that these young women have reached their breaking point, and the drama is unfolding for the world to witness. But what's really happening behind the scenes? Why are they allegedly seeking emancipation, and how does this connect to the mysterious circumstances surrounding their late mother, Kim Porter? Let's dive.
So hopefully we can get down to the bottom of this. I'm 100%, the charges against me are 100% false, and hopefully due to time, we'll start to see that.
Here's the situation. Diddy's daughters, who have long been known as the quieter and more private members of his family, are now making headlines. For years, they stood by their father's side, attending glamorous events and sharing sweet family moments on social media. However, sources now claim that the trio is ready to break away and carve their own path. And honestly, who could blame them? With their father's name constantly tied to controversy, it's understandable why they might want to distance themselves. But here's the twist. It's not just about the legal drama or media attention. There's something much deeper at play. The unresolved.
Well, Kim Porter, that is Diddy's ex, who's also the mother of his 3 of his children.
Right.
Has detailed the alleged abuse that she suffered at his hands.
Oh, no.
And this is all in a memoir.
Let's rewind to 2018, the year Kim Porter, Diddy's longtime partner and the mother of 3 of his children, tragically passed away. Official reports stated she died from pneumonia, but whispers of foul play have lingered ever since. Now, those whispers are turning into full-blown allegations. According to leaked details from the autopsy report, Kim was reportedly in good health just days before her death. So, how did things take such a drastic turn? That's the question everyone is asking. Adding to the suspicion are claims that a casket for Kim was allegedly ordered a full week before her passing. I mean, who does that? It's details like these that have conspiracy theorists and insiders alike demanding a deeper investigation, but things get even more mysterious. At the time of Kim's death, her personal belongings, including her laptop, phone, and other electronics, were reportedly missing. You'd think someone with her resources and connections would have had these items nearby, right? Yet, they were nowhere to be found. Then there's the condition of her body, as described in the autopsy report. While foul play wasn't officially suspected, certain details, like skin
And it's like, it was the same thing Kim was going through. The same thing, bro. Kim was going through the same thing. The beatings, you know what I'm saying?
Imagine being one of Kim Porter's daughters and growing up hearing all of this. Even if you're unsure what to believe, the constant speculation surrounding your mother's life and her untimely passing would undoubtedly take a heavy emotional toll. And let's not forget the other allegations circling Diddy himself, from claims of controlling behavior to shocking accusations of emotional and physical mistreatment. It's becoming clear that this family's reality is far from the picture-perfect image often portrayed in the media. Allegedly, Diddy's treatment of Kim during their relationship was so turbulent that it left lasting emotional scars on their children, who witnessed it firsthand. One insider even claimed that Kim once confided.
Do I think, yeah. Every man possibly is capable. I think he's very capable of doing it. It's in his character. That's who he is. That's what comes with power. That's what comes with arrogance. That's what comes with, what makes him, power. That's just the selfishness that make you be like that.
But here's the twist. This isn't just about the past. It's also about what's happening right now after Diddy's arrest and subsequent legal troubles. His family dynamics seem to have shifted dramatically. At first, his children were seen rallying around him, showing support in court and on social media. But in recent months, that united front has crumbled. During Diddy's most recent court appearance, only his sons Justin and Christian showed up. The daughters nowhere to be seen. And while family members Where previously posting coordinated birthday messages and public displays of love, insiders are now saying those moments were staged, scripted attempts to drum up sympathy for Diddy. If that's true, it's pretty heartbreaking.
So yesterday, Monday, Diddy celebrated his 55th birthday, but this year was a lot different. It was no Diddy parties. It was none of that. None of that stuff. Well, happily so, I guess, right now. But anyway, so this is his first birthday behind bars.
For the daughters, this public unraveling of their family seems to have been the breaking point. Rumors suggest they've been meeting with attorneys to explore the legal steps necessary to emancipate themselves from their father's control. And honestly, can you blame them? Imagine being a teenager or a young adult and having your family's darkest secrets plastered all over the news sources close to the family claim that the daughters are deeply hurt by everything they've heard and seen, not just about their father's.
Yeah, but so there's still, I mean, it's crazy too because there's still more happening in court. Like, I mean, everything is still active even though we're not hearing about it as much anymore. And the people may be fatigued like we talked about prior to.
And speaking of Kim, let's talk about her legacy for a moment. Kim Porter was known as a loving, dedicated mother who put her children above everything else. Even those closest to her have described her as a kind, warm, and resilient person who always tried to see the best in people even during difficult times. Yet her relationship with Diddy was anything but smooth. Reports from insiders paint a picture of a relationship filled with emotional highs and devastating lows. Allegedly, Diddy's controlling behavior often left Kim feeling trapped, and she confided in friends that their arguments could escalate to the point of physical altercations. One particularly shocking claim comes from someone who worked closely with the couple who recalled a night when an argument turned into a full-blown fight involving objects being hurled across the room. The insider described Kim as someone who stood her ground despite the chaos, but it's clear that
because Kim had took the cork, you know, where you open up wine, the corkscrew. She took the corkscrew and caught him on his wrist defending himself. And he almost, I think he had, I know he tore some ligament, but he almost hit an artery or came close to the artery or either scratched it or cut it a little bit because he just kept bleeding.
Fast forward to today, and Kim's name is once again making headlines. This time in connection with a leaked memoir that allegedly reveals explosive details about her life with Diddy. While the authenticity of the book has been widely debated, it reportedly contains claims of mistreatment, manipulation, and even fear for her life. Diddy's legal team has, of course, dismissed the book as a sham. However, that hasn't stopped it from becoming a bestseller and reigniting conversations about Kim's life and tragic passing. And here's the kicker. Kim's own children, including Diddy's daughters, have publicly denied the book's authenticity, calling it a hurtful fabrication. Yet, some fans...
You know, he get trafficking because he took her to different states and had her perform acts with different, you know, male and different people, sometimes against her will.
It's hard not to feel for the daughters in all of this. They've been thrust into the spotlight in a way no one could have prepared them for. On one hand, they're grappling with the loss of their mother and the unresolved questions surrounding her passing. On the other, they're watching their father face some of the most serious allegations imaginable. And through it all, they're trying to figure out who they are and what they stand for. If the rumors about their emancipation plans are true, it could mark a turning point not just for them, but for the entire Combs family. But here's the thing. The story doesn't end with Diddy's daughters allegedly walking away. In fact, it only gets messier from here. Let's talk about what's happening now with Diddy's legal battles and the role his sons are reportedly playing in all of this. If you thought the daughters' rumored emancipation was dramatic, wait until you hear about the allegations surrounding Justin and Christian Combs. These two have been dragged into the public eye with claims that they're not just standing by their father's side, but
Those individuals allegedly included high-ranking supervisors in the business, personal assistants, security staff, and household staff.
Let's start with the court appearances. For months, Diddy has been fighting tooth and nail to get out on bail. He's offered everything from private security to putting up massive assets as collateral, but nothing has worked. Why? Prosecutors argue that Diddy poses a danger to the community and can't be trusted to follow the rules. And honestly, the evidence they've presented is pretty wild. For starters, they claim that Diddy has been using three-way calls from prison to contact people he's not supposed to be talking to. How? By getting other inmates to let him use their phone accounts. It's like something straight out of a movie, and it doesn't stop there. Allegedly, Diddy has been asking his family to pass along messages to potential witnesses, urging them to stay quiet or even change the
realm. This is very significant, just from who we associate Diddy being and everything we've seen him do over the decades. Like you said, this is quite the downfall to go from, I mean, we saw the mansions back in March that were raided by the feds. So to go from living in those mansions to being in a jail cell right now, I think it really underscores the magnitude of what he's facing and the weight of the federal government.
But here's something that hasn't gotten as much attention. Prosecutors allege that Diddy isn't just using these calls to reach witnesses. He's also reportedly trying to influence public opinion from behind bars. Sources claim that Diddy is strategizing with his team to create social media campaigns aimed at swaying potential jurors. Remember those highly polished birthday videos from his kids? Prosecutors say they weren't spontaneous at all, but part of a carefully orchestrated PR strategy. Allegedly, Diddy even monitored audience engagement with these posts, tracking likes and comments to gauge public sentiment. If true, it shows just how far he's willing to go to spin the narrative in his favor. And get this, there are whispers that Diddy is using code words not just in phone calls, but in written correspondence as well. According to insiders, investigators have flagged certain letters and emails where seemingly innocent phrases carry hidden meanings. For example, a casual mention of recycling might actually refer to destroying evidence, while phrases about family gatherings could point to meetings meant to coordinate strategies. These claims are still under investigation, but if they hold up, it paints a picture of someone who's not just fighting for his freedom, but also trying to
It's a question of that, but when you read through the indictment, it's pretty clear who could be indicted as a co-conspirator. Right now, there are people in the indictment who would be considered unnamed co-conspirators, but clearly have played a role in this conspiracy. And I think prosecutors have some big leverage on them because they're hoping that they testify against Diddy as prosecution witnesses.
Meanwhile, the sheer scale of the investigation is something else entirely. Authorities are reportedly going through mountains of evidence, including financial records, text messages, and even security footage from Diddy's properties. They've also seized multiple electronic devices, which some believe could contain damning information. One source close to the case described the process as peeling back layers of an onion, with each new discovery leading to even more questions. It's said that some of the evidence is so sensitive that it's being reviewed in private, away from prying eyes. If true, it raises the stakes even higher.
But there's also strategic reasons for the prosecutors to want him to have co-defendant, because right now he hasn't waived his right to a speedy trial, which would force prosecutors to take him to trial pretty quick, which they actually might not be ready to do. But if they supersede him and have co-defendants with him, it makes it a lot easier to pursue a trial continuance without him waiving his speedy trial right.
But here's where it gets even more complicated. Reports suggest that Diddy's sons, Justin and Christian, are more than just supportive family members. They're allegedly helping him cover his tracks. A leaked phone call between Diddy and Justin has been making the rounds, and it's raising a lot of eyebrows. In the call, Diddy reportedly uses coded language, asking Justin to get rid of the leftover pizza boxes. Now, let's be real. Nobody thinks he's actually talking about pizza. Insiders claim this is a reference to evidence that could be damaging to his case. And according to these same...
So it's just another form to silence a man, humble a person. You know how sometimes you got to humble somebody?
You're right.
Yeah, I think he's being humbled right now, which it took a long time. It takes a long time to humble an arrogant person.
But why would they risk getting involved in something so messy? Some say it's about loyalty. Others believe it's because they've been raised in a world where this kind of behavior is normalized. Remember, these are young men who grew up surrounded by luxury and power, watching their father navigate the highs and lows of fame. If the allegations are true, it's possible they've been conditioned to believe that protecting the family name is more important than anything else. And honestly, that's just tragic. Speaking of tragic, let's talk about the lawsuits piling up against the Combs family. Diddy isn't the only one facing legal trouble. His sons are named in some of these cases too. For example, there's a lawsuit from a producer named Rodney Jones, who claims he was coerced into participating in some of the same activities Diddy is accused of orchestrating. According to Jones, Justin was directly involved in arranging these situations and even played a key role in recruiting.
It was all, insecurities. Anytime a man would go out his way to wiretap someone's phone or put taps in their homes just to monitor their conversation, that's a sign of insanity. So when you see someone doing that, you can imagine everything else they do.
And then there's Christian, who's facing his own set of accusations. One lawsuit alleges that he behaved inappropriately toward a woman during an event hosted by his father. The suit claims that this wasn't an isolated incident and that Christian's actions were part of a larger pattern enabled by the toxic environment created by Diddy. Again, these are just allegations, but the fact that both sons are being named in lawsuits alongside their father is telling. It suggests that whatever is happening in this family isn't just about one person, it's systemic. Now, let's pivot back to Diddy himself, because his legal team has been working overtime to suppress evidence and control the narrative. One of their main arguments is that the search warrants used to raid Diddy's homes were allegedly unconstitutional. They're claiming that the authorities presented a distorted version of reality to obtain those warrants, leaving out key details and relying on questionable sources. Whether or not this argument holds up in court remains.
Wait a minute. Say that again. Say that again. Back up. You're saying that there's tapes and they're being shopped?
Yes, there have been people already shopping.
We've heard about the tapes, but
yes.
The shopping thing is
yes,
new.
there already have been tapes leaking around Hollywood, being shopped around to individuals in Hollywood. But one particular person contacted me to shop a particular video they were in possession of.
But here's the thing. Even if Diddy's legal team succeeds in suppressing some of the evidence, the damage to his reputation is already done. The media coverage has been brutal, and public opinion is turning against him. Honestly, it's hard to see how he comes back from this. Between the allegations of abuse, the suspicious circumstances surrounding Kim Porter's passing, and now the claims involving his sons, it feels like the walls are closing in. Even some of his most...
It sounds like there was probably a lot of hidden cameras as well. Is that what is being talked about?
Yes, this was actually in his Atlanta home, at a home he had in Atlanta at one point. And it does seem that the person isn't like looking into the video. So to me, doesn't seem like that person knows they're being videotaped. It doesn't seem like they're active participant in the videotape.
And what about the rest of Diddy's family? His mother, Janice Combs, has been notably absent from recent court appearances, which is a stark contrast to her earlier public shows of support. Insiders say she's devastated by everything that's happening and is struggling to reconcile the man she knows as her son with the allegations being leveled against him. As for Diddy's youngest daughter, Love, she's too young to fully understand what's going on. But you have to wonder, how will all of this affect her as she gets older? Will she grow up hearing the same rumors?
I mean, that fact in of itself is a big deal, because when you're talking about going back in time and talking about these allegations from other alleged victims, there's not a lot of police reports, but you guys actually have one. And is that going to be revealed? Are we going to be able to see it?
Yes, as soon as I file my lawsuit in civil court, I will be attaching the...
And then there's the question of Kim Porter's legacy. As more details about her life and relationship with Diddy come to light, her name is becoming a rallying cry for those seeking justice. Friends and family members have started speaking out, calling for a renewed investigation into her passing and demanding accountability for anyone who may have been involved. Even Kim's ex-husband, Al B. Sure, has joined the movement, using his platform to raise awareness and push for answers. It's clear that Kim's story isn't over, and her memory continues to be a powerful force in this ongoing saga. Where does that leave us? Honestly, it feels like we're watching a real-life soap opera unfold. In slow motion, every day brings new revelations, new allegations, and new questions. Will Diddy's daughters go through with their plans to emancipate? Will his sons face consequences for their alleged involvement? And what about Diddy himself? Can he clear his name, or is this the beginning of the